Louise d'Orléans was born in Palermo on April 3, 1812. She was the eldest daughter and second of the 10 children of Louis-Philippe I and Maria Amalia of Naples and Sicily. Through her father, Louise was the granddaughter of Philippe d'Orléans, known as Philippe Égalité, who voted for the death of Louis XVI. Louise's mother, Maria Amalia, was the daughter of King Ferdinand I of the Two Sicilies and Maria Carolina of Austria, who was a sister of Marie Antoinette. Louise and her family settled in France in July 1814 at the Palais Royal, before having to flee again because of Napoleon's return in March 1815. After the Battle of Waterloo, the family returned to France and eventually settled in the Château de Neuilly. Like her brothers and sisters, Louise received a liberal education. She was taught in history, geography, and foreign languages. As Louis-Philippe had formerly been a teacher himself during his exile in Switzerland, he schooled his children on history himself and taught them in great detail about the French Revolution in order to prepare his children to face a changing world. The Orléans children were deeply loved by their parents. Maria Amalia found great satisfaction in being with her children. She was often seen taking walks or carriage rides with them. At the end of July 1830, a new revolution broke out in France, driving King Charles X out of the country. A new regime was established in the form of a constitutional monarchy. Louis-Philippe became the new sovereign. On August 9, he assumed the title of King of the French to distinguish himself from his predecessors. Meanwhile, as a result of the Belgian Revolution, Belgium's independence was internationally recognized on December 20, 1830, and on July 21, 1831, Leopold of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha became the first king of the Belgians under the name of Leopold I. The new sovereign had previously been married to Charlotte of Wales, who had died in 1817. In order to found the Belgian dynasty, Leopold had to remarry. As Belgium's independence was still fragile, Leopold decided on a French bride in order to strengthen Belgium's ties with France. In March 1832, King Leopold resolutely fixed his choice on Louise. After successful negotiations with the French King Louis-Philippe I, a meeting took place between Leopold and Louise in Compiègne. As a child, Louise had met Leopold once and she remembered him as a cold and silent man. The wedding ceremony took place on August 9, 1832 at the Château de Compiègne, after which a heavy-hearted Louise left her family and traveled to Belgium. Despite her initial impressions, Louise quickly developed a great relationship with her new husband. Within 1 year after their marriage, a son, Louis-Philippe, was born. The birth of the child strengthened the position of Leopold as King of Belgium, but unfortunately, the little boy died 2 months before his first birthday. Louise soon found herself pregnant again, and eventually 3 more children were born. Leopold, who would become Leopold II of Belgium, Philippe, Count of Flanders, and a daughter named Charlotte, who would become Empress of Mexico through her marriage to Maximilian I of Mexico. Although Leopold I was a Lutheran, the royal children were raised in the Catholic faith, which was the religion of the vast majority of their subjects and of Louise herself. Louise's life in Belgium was off to a difficult start. Louise was shy and had no connection to the people who viewed her as a foreigner. As time progressed, though, Louise began to appreciate Belgium, and especially the Belgian coastal area and the beach, where she felt more at ease than in the royal palace in Brussels. As soon as Louise had arrived in Belgium, she took a keen interest in the political life of the kingdom, which she wanted to see prosper. She offered discreet and effective help to the king in political and diplomatic matters. Leopold had great confidence in Louise, and before embarking on his first long journey abroad, he proposed to the government to delegate his regal powers to the Queen. However, the government was so unanimous in its opposition that the king did not pursue the matter any further. In January 1839, Louise's sister Marie died at the age of 25. When in July of 1842 her 31-year-old brother Ferdinand also died, Louise was devastated. Upon request of her parents, Leopold and Louise traveled to Paris, but Leopold was not sympathetic towards Louise's grief. Slowly, the couple started to drift apart, and soon Leopold started an affair with the 18-year-old Arcadie Claret. Leopold's mistress was very open about the affair, but the people sided with their queen and despised Arcadie, leading to several incidents such as her hotel windows being smashed and Arcadie being jeered at in public. In 1848, the February Revolution in France put an end to the monarchy and Louis-Philippe I was overthrown. The anguish for the safety of her family during these events delivered a terrible blow to Louise's health. Louise had to wait for 6 months before seeing her family in exile in England, where she arrived on October 2, 1848. While the Revolution of 1848 echoed throughout Europe, threatening existing monarchies, Belgium, on the other hand, saw the union between the sovereign and the people strengthened. In the spring of 1849, King and Queen traveled to each of the provinces in Belgium, receiving a warm welcome in all of them. At the beginning of 1850, Louise's health started to deteriorate rapidly. During a 2-month visit in Clermont with her parents, Louise suffered from dysentery. In August of the same year, her father, Louis-Philippe I, died. During a memorial held for her father, Louise stumbled during the service. The king had to support her so that she would not fall, and he quickly realized the seriousness of her condition. When Louise became increasingly weak, she moved to the Belgian coastal area to recover. In September, Louise still managed to go for short walks with her children, but she became permanently bedridden in early October of that same year. The Queen's mother, Maria Amalia, and her sister Clémentine traveled to Ostend, and surrounded by those she loved, Louise d'Orléans died on Friday, October 11, 1850. She was 38 years old. On October 14, the funeral procession that brought the Queen's body back from Ostend to Brussels was led by Leopold, her 2 sons, and 3 of her brothers. Louise's funeral service was held on October 17 in the old church of Notre Dame in the village of Laeken. Leopold I judged this church to be unworthy of the royal family and had a new one built. The remains of Louise and Leopold were transferred to the crypt of the new church on April 20, 1876. From then on, the crypt became the burial place of the members of the Belgian royal family. Although initially the Queen had been a stranger to the Belgian people, she had grown more popular during the later years of her life. The country grieved the loss of their Queen. The variety and number of funeral mementos that were printed and distributed among the people were a testament to the immense popularity of the Queen, who never knew how much she was loved by her people. Thank you for watching.